If you're watching this, it's because you're one of the people who regularly supports everything that's happening here at Community Church. It's been a really cool first 3 months of 2025, and this is our spring quarterly update. So a little while ago, we were given the chance to do something really cool right here in Babylon Village. One thing that we value as a church is not doing everything well, but getting behind people who are doing their thing really well. We like to say that we try to be the help, not the hero. And so right down the road, there's a church called the First Presbyterian Church of Babylon, and they have a food pantry, and they reached out to us and asked us to help them stock their food pantry. They were running low on food. And so we asked you guys to bring in some food and help them stock their pantry. And the response was overwhelming. There were tons and tons of cans and packages and all sorts of things that came in. And so this was a really cool opportunity, not just to meet a need, but to reinforce a value that we try to get behind people who are already doing their thing really well. They were blown away by the response. And so thank you so much for stepping up the way that you did. And thank you, First Presbyterian Church of Babylon, for doing what you're doing so well. So this spring, we did a series called The Way, where we took a 30,000 foot view of what it looks like to follow Jesus. What we've been doing is encouraging you to learn how to be with Jesus all throughout the day, and not just for 1 hour on Sunday morning or on Thursday night. And part of that series has been what we've called the 40-day challenge, where every day we've been sending out a morning startup text message and a midday check-in text message. It's a little Bible verse, an insight, and then an action to help you redirect your attention or awareness to God's presence with you. And it's been so cool to see the response to this series. There are over 500 people who are receiving those text messages or notifications every single day and learning how to be more aware of God's presence with them. So this first quarter has been another season of growth for us as a church. Every week, almost this year, we've had over 1,000 people in attendance. And that's been something to celebrate, not just because of the numbers, but because of the people and the stories that those numbers represent. Now, along with that kind of growth, we've also had to adjust the structure of how we operate as a church so that we can support that growth in a healthy way. And so what that's looked like for us, specifically in our kids department, is the creation of what we call kids coaches. So Ali Pizzicello is my wife, also our program director, and she oversees our kids department. And it used to be her who served all the volunteers on her kids team. But she has now trained and equipped a team of kids coaches that she serves, and they serve the volunteers on the kids team. And so in essence, it's another layer of leadership. She's also working with Carrie Sheets, who's our groups director, to put in place some groups coaches that are now supporting the group leaders who are leading our community groups every week. And so this is exciting. It's been a challenge, but it's been something we've been working toward. We're looking to do it in other areas of the church as well. But it's been a huge, huge opportunity to not just continue to grow as a church, not just to support the growth of the church, but also to train and equip leaders within our church. And so that's been worth celebrating. Along with the growth of our team, we've also seen the growth of our staff. And so I'm excited to share with you that we've recently hired a creative director named Ola, who's on the other end of this camera. So this is Ola. Ola is our creative director. He is helping with video editing, with production, with graphic design. He's going to be the head of our production team, the guys in the back, the guys and girls in the back that help run everything behind the scenes in the service. And so he's kind of a jack of all trades, creative and production wise. Would you say that?
Yeah.
Okay. And he's been a phenomenal addition to our team already. So if you haven't seen Ola on a Sunday, make sure you find him. Probably be in the back or roaming around somewhere with a team member or a camera or something like that. But I'm excited that he's part of this team. And I didn't tell him he was going to be in this video, but here he is. And he's doing a great job. So this is another thing to celebrate. So the last thing I want to share with you is a little bittersweet. Nick and Joanne Torsivia are going to be relocating to Alabama for Nick's new job. If you've been at Community Church for a while, you know what a big deal this is. Nick and Joanne were two of the first people to get on board with this church. I remember One night, Nick and Joanne invited Allie and I over a little while after we announced that we were going to try to start a church in Babylon. And they sat us down at their dining room table and they told us they wanted to come with us. And so they sold their house and bought a new house here in Babylon Village. In fact, they moved here before we did to help get this church going. We had some of our first meetings in their backyard, and Joanne really built our guest services department. If you've had any kind of interaction with the black shirts on a Sunday morning, that is a team that was dreamt up and put together by Joanne Torsivia. She has spent so many hours, literally years, praying for, planning, and diligently working to make that team what it is. And so much of who we are, we owe to the Torsivias. And while we are sad to see them go, we are so grateful. I am so grateful for the huge sacrifice that they have made to help build this church and make it what it is today. Nick and Joanne will be around here for the next several weeks or so, and they will definitely come back and visit. They better come back and visit. But make sure, if you see them, that you stop and express some gratitude. Wish them well, but also say thanks, because this church would not be what it is if they were not the kind of people that they are. And I think it's fitting to close this video with their story. They are a picture of people stepping out and making sacrifices for the sake of what could be, for the sake of other people, for the sake of people who don't yet have a relationship with Jesus. And the harvest that we've seen because of their steps of faith is something we will never be able to measure. And the same is true for what you're doing here at this church, for the way that you're giving financially, for the way that you're supporting this church with your time, for the way that you're volunteering if you're part of the team. The sacrifices that you're making on a regular basis are the reason why this church is the way that it is. And so thank you. Thank you for giving. Thank you for serving. Thank you for supporting, for praying, for making this church what it is. Thank you for helping us build a church for people who don't go to church.